Okay, so you've probably never heard of Lisa Marie Young. And I wouldn't blame you. It's not exactly a household name.
Right.
But her story, it's one you need to hear, trust me.
Okay.
So picture this. 2002, Nanaimo, BC. A 21-year-old vanishes without a trace.
Just gone.
Gone, yeah. And to make it even creepier, her last text message was a cry for help.
Oh, wow.
So today, we're going to do a deep dive into Lisa's case. We'll look at the mystery, the investigation, and this whole issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaking trend. And Lisa's case, it really highlights a lot of the systemic problems we see in these cases.
Yeah, and before we even get into that night, I think we should try to get at the sense of who Lisa was, paint a picture.
Absolutely.
Everyone who knew her talked about her smile, how kind she was. She just brought joy to everyone around her,
I can only imagine how devastating it was when she disappeared.
Totally. And it all started on a totally normal night, June 30th, 2002. Lisa was out with friends, just a regular night out, but it got late and she needed a ride home.
Yeah.
So this new acquaintance offers to take her to grab some food, like a late night thing.
Mm-hmm.
But she never made it.
See, that's what gets me. It's that she was just going somewhere so ordinary, like a place she knew.
Right. It makes you wonder what could have happened between those 2 points.
Totally. It's like it could happen to anyone.
And then you add in that text message.
Yeah, that's chilling.
She managed to text someone saying she was scared and needed help.
That's what changes everything,
Totally. It's not just a missing person anymore. It makes you think something really bad happened.
Exactly. It immediately makes you suspect foul play.
So, obviously, the driver, the last person to see her, becomes a big part of the investigation.
Of course, you got to start there.
And I was reading that when the police talked to him, his story didn't quite add up. There were inconsistencies.
Like what?
Well, he changed his timeline of events a few times, making it hard to believe.
That's always suspicious.
Right. And it gets worse. There's some suggestion he might have been involved in some shady stuff, maybe even criminal activity.
Oh, wow. That adds a whole other layer to it.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what he might be hiding. And then you have this whole issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada. It's a huge problem.
Absolutely. It's a national crisis.
And Lisa's family, they're convinced her Indigenous background played a role in how her case was handled, especially by the media.
Yeah, they've been pretty vocal about that.
Oh, yeah. They pointed out how much less coverage her case got compared to others, like missing white women.
And sadly, that's a pattern we see over and over, and it's been documented in tons of reports. Even the National Inquiry into Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls.
It's just heartbreaking, and the impact it has on these communities is huge.
Yeah, they see Lisa's case as a symbol of this ongoing struggle for justice and recognition.
And, Lisa's family, especially her mother, Joanne, they've been incredible.
Oh, they've been fighting so hard for her.
They haven't given up. They've organized vigils, kept her story alive.
And advocating for changes, too, in how these cases are investigated?
Absolutely. They've been pushing for real change.
That kind of tenacity is inspiring. They've been meeting with lawmakers and really holding people accountable.
But what about the police investigation itself? It sounds like it wasn't perfect.
Yeah, the family has expressed some frustration with the initial response.
Like what?
Well, they felt like there were delays, like things didn't move fast enough in those first crucial days and weeks, and you can understand how that erodes trust.
Yeah, for sure. Every minute counts in those early stages.
Exactly. And even if investigators face challenges, it's important to acknowledge those concerns and learn from them.
Okay, so let's talk theories. What are some of the possibilities in Lisa's case?
Well, there are a few that have come up over the years. Some think she was abducted, maybe even forced into trafficking.
That's terrifying.
It is. And others believe she might have gotten caught up with the wrong people, involved in some dangerous activities. But without solid evidence, it's all just speculation,
Yeah, each theory has its own set of problems and questions.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the what ifs.
But at the end of the day, Lisa is still missing.
And that's what we have to remember. Lisa's story is a reminder of the very real human cost of this MMIWG crisis.
It's a story that needs to be heard, a wake-up call.
It is. And what's so powerful about Lisa's case is the way her family has refused to let her be forgotten.
They've inspired so many others to speak out, demand justice.
Yeah, it makes you think, what can we each do to contribute? How do we create a safer world for Indigenous women and girls?
That's the question we all need to be asking ourselves.
Absolutely, because this isn't just a problem for one community. It affects us all.
And that's why Lisa's story matters, even if you've never heard of her before. It's a story about justice, about systemic issues, and about the power of a family's love and determination.
And a reminder that we can't afford to stay silent.